comedians bombing. Like it's just a natural part of it. And I gave my first performance at Kindle's. You were there, but and I would say I bombed, but not epically. My most epic bomb was like the next week, and I've had some pretty epic ones since. But I remember this was like the first super hard one.
Yeah. And
this one I think of every time. It's at a little place called JJ's Alley.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've been
JJ's.
there.
Oh yeah.
And I would say that crowd is good because if they are into it, you're really good. Yeah. But they don't want you there. They want to see live music.
You really got to pull them in at JJ's.
And the way it's set up is like there's a tiny little stage and then like a 50-foot hallway.
So it's very long and narrow. Yeah.
It's a tough place to perform. And I'm not trying to be insult. I mean, I go to this place every Thursday. I like it, but to set up, why this bomb was so fantastic. I had this bit I was working on about an overage woman. The joke was that I got in trouble for dating a girl of an inappropriate age. She wasn't underage, she was overage. That was kind of the premise of the whole thing.
I enjoy that joke.
Yeah. So it's like 5 minutes about this too. It's not like one little,
you definitely needed to trim some of the fat off.
It's a lot. And this was my first time trying to just make a monstrosity out of nothing. I had just way too much. And, But, you only get 5 minutes. So it was all or nothing. Like, this was my bit. And right before I was going to go up, a woman walked in and she had a sash on. Oh, and I looked at the sash and it said 70th birthday. And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm about to do a bit about old ladies. And then she hollers down the stairs, come on, it's open. And like 8 more of her friends, her same age, come up there. And it was one of like the dead nights. So they were the only audience members besides like 3 or 4 comics.
The Biddy squad really literally rolled up into JJ's as you did your old Biddy joke.
And it was, so I still, there was one comic before me to go. And so I'm thinking to myself, do I go with this material or do I just like try? Because I didn't have anything else. I was very new. I didn't have anything else. And a guy well, John McMillan, was there.
Oh, yeah.
And John McMillan, who's going to be on the podcast eventually, he loves it when shit goes sideways.
He thrives on chaos.
Yes. Yeah. When chaos ensues, like, he is home. Yeah. And he had heard me do this bit like earlier in the week. And he knew I was new. Right. And so he's looking at me and I'm like, I'm thinking, and he knows. And I was like, I don't think this is the crowd for me. He's like, are you doing the old lady shit? Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't call it that. But, and he's like, you're doing it. And I mean, he gets so excited. Yes. He moves up to the very front where he's like next to the old ladies. He's like, yeah, our next guy. Like, he was so excited. And I was like, oh no. And I thought it was like an exercise in like determination. And I was like, I have to go up there because, if I play a theater someday, I'm not gonna be able to change my stuff on the fly. I'm gonna go up there and do it. Yeah. And I went up there and I did it, and I wish it was silent. Right. They were like, oh God, oh no. Just looking at each other, shaking their heads. Right. And I remember just like hoping that the structural foundation of JJ's, which is already shaky. Yeah. I was hoping the termites would get through it at any moment and it would collapse on me and end it right there. Just me. I hope she enjoys her 70th and on birthdays, but I wanted to, I was like, so this is what it feels like to actually die. Like this and that was probably the worst. That and the one time at Othello's, I have another bit about I'm half Mexican. And, obviously, you can tell by looking at me and talking to me, I definitely am more white presenting is the term I would use. Yeah. And, the Mexican side of my family, we have a good laugh. They tease me about it. It's like, all love. But I do think it's funny to compare and contrast like the differences between my lifestyle, their lifestyle. It's very fun.
Especially when you like live right down that line and you see both sides your whole life. And absolutely.
So it's jokes that like kind of a collection of, stuff that we've all talked about through the years, and it's fun, and it's kind of, a lot of people joke about race. So it's not exactly the most creative thing to joke about, but it's, it's personal. So it's fun. Well,
I feel like it's extremely creative if you can actually have a fresh take on something like that, though.
That's true.
That shows some real depth to your creativity when you can do that.
Kind of a knife's edge. But the guy that went right before me one time, he did 5 minutes of jokes about being half Mexican.
Oh, God. You like, motherfucker. You son of a bitch.
And so I had another one of those moments of like, do I try something else? And I was like, nope. You know what? I came to do this. I got to do this. And it was tough.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, damn, like they are really hearing all about the plight of the half Mexicans tonight.
Stuff like that is crucial, though. Like bombing is crucial.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's absolutely necessary for your growth and development as a comedian.
That was one thing I was going to ask you is, do you feel that it's like something you eventually get past?
100%. I feel like everybody, it happens to everybody. Mm-hmm. If you don't think it's happened to you, it's either going to happen very soon or you're fucking delusional and it's already happened.
Or
and
just consistently happening.
It's just happening every time.
That's how it
you
goes.
just think you're killing it. Yeah.